Hey everybody, welcome to Loading Screens. Tim here. We're doing something different today, obviously. First off, you can see my beautiful face. Secondly, we're not going to be playing video games this morning. No, instead we're just going to be talking about some video games and some stuff that's been kind of on my mind recently. And it's morning time. I've got delicious coffee. So we're going to call it Coffee in the Morning with Tim, or something like that. I don't know. So, the way I want to do this is I want to start with a question. Is there a difference between ripping off someone's work and taking inspiration from someone's work? It seems kind of a broad question, and it'll make more sense after I'm done with my argument. But for me, I'm going to say that no, there's really not a difference. It's just a matter of semantics. But there is a line that can be crossed when it goes too far and it becomes kind of gross. So I'm going to start off with some stuff I know. I'm a writer. I have a degree in writing. And one of my professors in one of my classes a long time ago told me that there's only been like 6 books ever written. And when they said that, I was really confused at first. And I didn't believe them, blah, blah, blah. But after reading a whole lot and writing a lot, that, yeah, there's only really been about a half dozen stories that have ever been written. Everything else is just variations on that theme. It seems kind of weird when you think about it. But then those types of stories have created such a wide following, and there's been so many variations on them, that it's kind of unrecognizable. So we call these genres just kind of as a generalization. So when you pick up a mystery book, you kind of know what you're in for. When you pick up a book with a young man holding a shining sword, you kind of know what you're in for. That's not a bad thing, because it allows for us to have certain expectations, and when people meet and exceed those expectations, good stuff happens. We enjoy that. Video games are very much the same way, but because they haven't been around for thousands and thousands of years like stories have, we tend to kind of overanalyze and overreact when another game is similar to another game. So, for instance, when League of Legends first came out and it first started, kind of gaining momentum, a bunch of people were calling it a Dota clone, which, in fairness, it is very similar to Dota. It's the same style of game. There's, of course, many differences to it, but you could see its roots, where it comes from. And as that gained more and more popularity, it no longer became a Dota clone. It became a MOBA, or in fact, the MOBA for most people. And then when Dota 2 came out, it wasn't a Dota clone, even though it very much was a Dota clone, ironically. It was a MOBA, because League kind of established this genre. And these genres change over time. New games come out, and they kind of change the way we think about other games in that genre. This is not a good or a bad thing. It simply is the thing, is the paradigm of the current generation of the whatever game is out. So, if you look at an FPS today, it is much different than an FPS 10 years ago, even though they are still both classified as a first-person shooter. So I tell you all this to tell you about this. So I was on Rock Paper Shotgun the other day. I was just reading through, and I saw an article titled Starbase DF9 by Double Fine or something to that effect. Anyway, it had Double Fine in the title, so I was already into it. Turns out Double Fine is working on another game, so this is their third game, announced game at least, they're working on. So they've got their adventure game. They have Massive Chalice, and then I have this. And the way Double Fine is structured, I assume, is a series of much smaller teams working on kind of their own thing, which is cool. So, no problems there. And as I started reading the description on Rock Paper Shotgun, I came across the phrase Dwarf Fortress in space. And I stopped reading because I was sold. It doesn't matter. That's it. I'm in. Because I love Dwarf Fortress. If you don't know what Dwarf Fortress is, it's a game for crazy people. It is simultaneously the most complicated, the most intense, and the most ridiculous game. If you've never seen it played, I don't really know if you could call it a game as much as a simulation, even though it seems kind of weird because, it's about dwarves and building fortresses and going through that. If you haven't seen any of it, I recommend checking out Captain Duck. I'll post him down here. He's got some really good tutorials. I watched about 12 hours of his videos before I felt like I was ready to at least start Dwarf Fortress, and I am by no means good at the game. It is still very difficult, and there's a lot I don't know. Anyway, so I'll tell you this because I love Dwarf Fortress, so I might be biased on this, and if I am, please tell me. So I finished reading their little blurb, and then they had a video. So I played the video, and it is one of the lead designers, or the lead designer on that game, kind of driving a demo, really early stuff for the guys at RPS. And as he's, going through different stuff, he says multiple times, yeah, we're making Dwarf Fortress in space. And when he said it, when the developer said it, the lead developer, it felt really, really gross to me. I don't know why, and it took me a long time to actually figure out why. I think it's because it marginalizes so much of what Bay 12, the guys who make Dwarf Fortress, have done. It's two people, it's two brothers, and they've been working on Dwarf Fortress since 2006. And as far as I know, this is all they do. So this is their sole source of income. And if you play the game, or if you have played the game, you understand the amount of passion and love and dedication they have dumped into that game. There's nothing like Dwarf Fortress. And when this developer of, not a huge team by any means, but exponentially larger than the guys at Bay 12 said, oh, we're going to make that game in space, it just felt really, really gross to me. I know it seems kind of strange because I just talked about, ripping off games or taking inspiration from games. Then you just say that's kind of the way of things. Yes, it is. But there is a way to do that. And I kind of admire the developer for calling a spade and just saying, yeah, we're going to make that game in space. But I feel like that's not enough. You can't just say, we're going to make this good game and change it slightly. So I actually emailed Tarn Adams. It's got a strange name. At Bay 12 Games, the half of Bay 12 Games, and he got back to me, surprisingly enough. I basically asked, how do you feel about this? And he said, there's a lot of Dwarf Fortress-like games, either out or in development. I don't have particular thoughts about that one, since I don't know much about it. Sometimes they're cool, sometimes they seem kind of shameless. So he doesn't really care. And there are actually a bunch of Dwarf Fortress clones, or games that try to be very much like Dwarf Fortress, but most of them are god-awful. And I feel like if the Starbase DF9 continues on this trajectory, it is too going to be god-awful. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because I love Double Fine. I love the idea of Dwarf Fortress in space, but just the way he went about doing it seemed really gross to me. That's kind of my 2 cents. So if you want to talk about this, if you want to start a conversation, that'd be great. Post below in the comments. Let me know how you feel. I will post some of my relevant contact information to yell at me, tell me how wrong I am, tell me how right I am, tell me how great my hair is, whatever. Let me know how you feel. I'm really interested to hear another opinion on this, and I'll post some various links down there so you can know where I'm coming from. Alright guys, that's it for me. I'm going to try to do this fairly often. I really enjoy it. Makes me feel like I'm doing something with my life. Alright, see you guys later.